Hello everyone and welcome back to some more NASCAR Heat 5 Custom Championship Series without the playoffs. Today we're heading off to the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, for another short track. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so starting off here in qualifying, again going in completely blind, probably not, an advisable move for a place like Bristol, but we're just going to see where this pans out. I know Bristol can be kind of chaotic in these races. It'll be very interesting to see if it works in our favor or against us, as I had to really get out of gas there. So this is probably not going to be the world's best qualifying attempt. We're lifting quite a bit, which, I mean, obviously you do have to lift. This is a short track, so not going to be completely wide open like basically all of Texas was. I'm also running the inside line. I don't know if that's necessarily what we want to do here. The outside line might be better. Coming to line, that's not too far off the pole, to be honest. 19th. Okay, well, we're back to the midfield. So, could have been better. Looking at the qualifying results, though, we can see that Truex actually back on pole yet again. Is he going to go 2 for 2 in the last two races as Denny Hamlin, points leader, in second? I mean, that's 3 of the 4 Busch cars, or Joe Gibbs cars in the top 5. So I'm starting to get the idea that they might just dominate this race. Also, it's pretty cool to see Matty D up there in 3rd place, considering this is like his best track. So who knows? Maybe he can actually steal one from these guys. Okay, so coming to the green flag, it's actually pretty cool. We get to start alongside our Richard Petty Motorsports teammate, and immediately kind of leave him in the dust because we're on the inside, and that's how restarts work here at Bristol if you're in the middle of the corner. Anyways, obviously if you're on the straightaways, probably a different story. And we've already made up a few spots. I do feel like, as we actually look, we have 85 laps worth of fuel. Oh my god. Yeah, we might not have to pit at all, to be honest. But I feel like this is a track that could actually suit us very well, because unlike Martinsville, which is a very flat track where you're off the gas a lot, this is a, high banked circuit, which I feel like generally works better in favor of the human drivers as opposed to the AI, who tend to be, a bit slower in some of these corners. I do say that. Obviously, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to pass a bunch of cars here, and I probably don't want to leave the bottom open, as Joey Logano's probably just going to come and try and steal that from us. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be any pit stops short of any kind of caution coming out. And, depending on how our tires handle, I will say our tires are probably going to be pretty hot going through some of these corners. I do have to be careful here. I don't want Logano picking his nose on there, because who knows how far back we could fall as a result of that. And we also had a 3-wide battle up here a moment ago. We're on the inside of Ricky Stenhouse. That is also the other thing, of course. This is, more hectic than Martinsville, and the fact that you're just constantly turning. It's basically the closest thing to a circle that we have in NASCAR. As this is really close quarters. We give Almirola a little bit of a nudge, slowing us up a little bit. So we actually got a little bit of damage as a result of that, and by a little bit, I mean we're down to 96% aero. If you want to have damage like that on a car, probably best to have it at Bristol, because it shouldn't really matter ultimately. But that's not amazing, of course. That's probably going to do even more damage, as I'm surprised I did not send him up the hill. But we're kind of being a bit aggressive with Almirola here. He's kind of holding us up a little bit. 94% in fact. I did say it doesn't matter a whole lot, but once it gets low enough, obviously, it's going to make a pretty big difference. And the leaders have just kind of checked out, to be honest. Truex and the top 5 or so are just really far up there now. We're probably going to have, some lap traffic to deal with our own, but we're also probably going to become lap traffic, considering, I mean, we're in 13th place, but we're already half a lap down. And Logano, I really feel like I'm holding up Logano, honestly, but I'm completely okay with that, just because, not the biggest fan of Logano, if we're being completely honest. Okay, also, if I can pass some other cars and put some cars between myself and him, who knows, maybe he will leave us alone. Okay, so it looks like Kevin Harvick has now taken the lead. I feel like they've started running into lap traffic, which again, the AI probably not the greatest in terms of overtaking lap traffic. I do hope they're better at overtaking them here than at Martinsville. I feel like they should be able to, but I don't necessarily, want to get like a top 3 or potentially even win, just because the AI are really bad at passing cars. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case right now, but it's still very early on in the run, and they haven't really run into any big packs of lap traffic yet, so we'll have to see how that pans out. Okay, so I've made a bad mistake of going to the outside to try and pass Ryan Preece here. We're going to dive it in there, just because Eric Jones was trying to be a bit nosy there, trying to shove himself to the inside. And now we have Ryan Blaney, YRB, in 10th place. Can we get a 10th place out of Merritt? I will say there's a big gap between him and the next cars up there, of Matt Kenseth actually having a pretty good race. So I feel like on speed, we're probably at the very edge of the top 10. But that's not the only thing to decide where you finish at a track like this. Obviously, lap traffic pretty big indicator, as well as how you can manage your tires, which we're at 81%. Should I even try to do that math in my head right now? What are we, like a fourth of the way, oddly, through the race? Yeah, we should probably be able to make it on tire wears and on fuel. So really, it's just a pure race from the start. You know, any kind of caution could obviously change that, as we almost wrecked Blaney there in the process. I'm now on the high line. Honestly, you know what? The high line could work. The car's a bit tight on exit. I don't want to slam in the wall, considering we already have quite a bit of nose damage. Also, Quin Houff, you know, the legend that he is, probably going to block us if we're still up here on the outside. All right, we really got to... Oh, God. Holding us up a lot. Okay, Blaney kind of gave us a bit of room there. I'm appreciative of that, because he did not have to. Also, just out of complete curiosity, feel free to leave a comment down below with what your favorite short track in NASCAR is. Really, I mean, in terms of short tracks, I guess you could kind of argue Richmond, obviously, is a short track because it's less than a mile. But I just kind of think of Bristol and Martinsville. I personally, in the real world anyways, I enjoy watching Martinsville races more. I feel like there's some heavy bias in there, considering I was a big Jeff Gordon fan. And obviously, you know, that was basically like his best track for a long time. So, you know, I could see Bristol, obviously, especially in the older days when it was just one groove on the bottom. I did enjoy it a lot more back then. But now, ever since they've had like the progressive banking and the outside became like a viable option, I haven't really enjoyed it that much. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. I really do think it kind of depends on if you grew up with the older style Bristol as to whether or not you think the current one's good or not. If you didn't really ever watch NASCAR when they had the one-lane sort of Bristol, then you might still think it's pretty good. And I still think it's, you know, it's not bad or anything. But I did prefer the old one, as we are 3 wide. That is not something we want to do. We are catching up to the leader, who is actually Matty D. Oh gosh, Ty Dillon's going to hold us up here on the outside, unfortunately. All right, I'm going to let off the gas so we can follow Kenza through here. Okay, so they are duking it out for the lead. They are still struggling with lap traffic. This is kind of what I was worried about. That being said, they do seem to have some pretty open air ahead of them now, so they should be able to still outrun us at the very least. I will say, speaking of Kurt Busch, who's right behind us, I'm pretty sure some of my earlier memories of NASCAR, because I started watching like 2004, were of Kurt Busch winning in the Roush 97 at like the night race or whatever at Bristol. He used to always be amazing here, and I think he still is pretty good here. I don't actually know if he won in 2004 or not, but that is the year I started watching NASCAR, so I feel like maybe that's why. Obviously, I mean, he won the championship that year, so would not surprise me in the slightest if that is what happened. As we kind of bob and weaved our way through the lap traffic there pretty quickly. We are catching up to Kyle Busch. That could help us out. I think Hamlin's still up there at least a few positions. He's probably in like second or third, honestly. But we do need to get past both of them if we'd like to make up points in the championship. But De Benedetto still pulling out to a pretty decent lead, at least over me. We are 6.2 seconds back. That really hasn't changed. It kind of went down a little bit, but now it's kind of gone back up. He is now in a huge mess of lap traffic, so if he can get past them, then he's probably good, at least, you know, in terms of us catching up to him. But still, plenty of the race left to go. We're only now about halfway through. As I'm trying to get... Oh, this is not going to be great. I think that Cole Custer is a lap down. Bowman's also a lap down. Not exactly what you'd like to see if you're him trying to run, you know, in the top 10 in points. I don't think I should do that. Yeah, I was thinking better of it. I was about to send it in there, make it 3 wide. Definitely not something I would advise. Okay. Right on his bumper. We were basically shoving him through the corner. Okay, so I've kind of been held up by Bowman here for like 4 or 5 laps now. I don't want to go to the outside because I know it's a bad idea. But he's not giving me the inside, and I'm not able to really get enough of a run. Ooh, we might get one here. That was very sketchy. My car really kind of fishtailed there. Quin Houff already 2 laps down. Does not surprise me, to be honest. That's, you know, the legend Quin Houff for you. As a Boyer in 6th place. Don't know why I called him Boyer, or whatever. Michael McDowell running in 25th place. Better than he has been running for most of this season. Kind of interesting. I feel like that happens a lot in these NASCAR Heat games where you go to, you know, Daytona or Talladega. And, I mean, when you go in the real world, obviously anybody can win. But I feel like in these games, it is always somebody that you would never expect to wins. And then they just, like, underperform massively for the rest of the season or whatever, if you're playing in career mode or just custom championship season mode. It always seems to happen. It is kind of weird. As De Benedetto is still in the lead. We're still basically, you know, just 6 seconds back, so we're not really gaining or losing on him yet. And we have a lot of cars ahead of us now, including championship leader Denny Hamlin. Okay, we almost made it 3 wide with Chad Fincham and Justin Haley. Not something you want to do with some lap traffic. Timmy Hill twitching through the middle of the corner, not great either. I've kind of just been following Boyer through the middle of these corners. Okay, following him a bit too closely. Probably got a good sniff of his rear bumper there. Not exactly something you'd probably want to do for many reasons. Didn't get any more damage though, surprisingly. I'm pretty sure we got some of that damage earlier on pretty soft hits, and then I really just kind of rammed into the back of his bumper there, and it didn't do anything extra. I feel like the damage in this game is kind of hit or miss as to whether or not, you know, it matches the contact that you've created. As my car got a bit twitchy in that corner, but we managed to keep it off of Christopher Bell. And to the inside of Clint Boyer. He's gonna probably let us have that. Our car got a bit tight in that corner for some reason. Okay, now appears where, you know, Demento's made it through all this lap traffic. We're gonna have to make it through now, and there's a lot of traffic to deal with. So he's probably home free, at least from us. But I mean, we're still moving up. Denny Hamlin top 5. Can I get it? Okay, so we're trying to go to the inside of Denny Hamlin here as I just slam on the brakes. There are way too many cars on the inside here. I'm pretty sure they're all a lap down, except for maybe Chase. I don't actually know where Chase is at. He could be a lap down. I think he is actually, because Kevin Harvick is the next car ahead of Hamlin. This is not something you'd ever expect to see. 3 wide, 2 lanes deep, about to be 3 lanes deep, as I have no idea where to go. Can I just go to the inside here? I can't even really do that, as Reddick kind of just moving all over the place. This is a terrible idea. This is still a terrible idea. I don't want to... Yeah, okay, we're about to take out our teammate accidentally. This is just kind of chaotic right now. We're trying to make our way through the lap traffic. That's not something you'd ever expect to see, though, at Bristol. 3 wide, 2 lanes deep. Okay, so... Okay. Bubba's going to need to, you know, put his foot down for a minute, because he's kind of holding us up. At the same time, Hamlin, our nearest competitor, is also being held up on the outside because he refuses to go to the bottom for some reason. I am fully on the gas, and I'm being slowed down by this group ahead of us, so I'm going to send it to the inside. Again, abusing the mechanics of the AI in a way, because Hamlin should be, you know, past them by now, but he's not. We're going to take that. Ryan Newman's actually in the lead now. Dementato's fallen down to 3rd. Okay, so there's 18 laps left to go. We are, you know, 48% wear on the right front tire. Should be completely fine. A caution coming out now could change a lot of things, and honestly, it would probably help us out a lot, because I feel like, you know, we're performing pretty well, and if we were able to catch lap traffic again as we start closer to the front, that could help us out a lot in terms of, you know, potentially picking up a win. But without any kind of caution, I don't see us catching up to the leader. We are only 5 seconds down now, but we have a lot of lap traffic to deal with, and Newman will eventually come out into more clean air, as every car I'm passing now is effectively, you know, 1 or multiple laps down. I see Quin Houff, legend once again. He's like 3 laps down or 4 laps down at this point. I don't even know. He's going like half speed, although so is Ryan Preece, apparently, because he just kind of, you know, brake checked me in the middle of the corner. I'm riding on the apron. Not something you want to do. Is Quin Houff Canadian? For some reason, I keep here. I feel like I've heard that Quin Houff's Canadian, and I'm too lazy to Google this right now, obviously, because I'm in the middle of a race. But is he just, you know, too polite? Is he just like, hey, you know, you can pass me. You guys can all pass me. And that's why he's like so far back all the time? Or what? I don't exactly know what's going on with him. But we're just continuing to maneuver our way in and out of all this lapped traffic. Some of these cars are, you know, 4 laps down at this point, I'm sure. So pretty interesting to see the giant gap between the best AI and the worst AI in this race. Okay, so I can now see Kevin Harvick less than 2 seconds ahead of me. He does have a bit more open air than I do right now. That being said, Timmy Hill getting out of our way, so we're not going to lose any time on him. We could still get, I would think, at least the top 4 here. I don't know if we're going to be able to get much higher than that unless some, you know, big gaggle of lap traffic kind of holds up the leaders. Because we do seem to be a bit faster, but we're not that fast. Not fast enough to make up all that ground in just 10 more laps. I'm pretty sure I passed Blaney not even that long ago, and now we are a lap ahead of him. So we are definitely performing better on the long run. Again, that's probably because of the more grip option, but I feel like I kind of do need that, because otherwise this season would have no chance of going very well. We'd probably just be struggling for, you know, top 20s, top 30s the whole time, which I don't think would be too entertaining, even though it'd probably be a bit more reasonable for a Richard Petty Motorsports car to be doing that. Bowman, once again, not having a great race. Pretty sure he's 2 or 3 laps down at this point. There's a big open air pocket behind Blaney there, actually. So all the other cars seem to be grouping up on one section of the track. Not exactly what you'd like to see if you're Ryan Newman or any of the other leaders competing for the win right now. It's Kevin Harvick now slowly, we're reeling him in. Again, I don't know if we're necessarily going to get much higher than him, but we should be able to get to his bumper at least by the end of the race. Okay, we got a bit friendly there with Ty Dillon on the exit of that corner. I am pushing a bit harder to try to get past these lap traffic cars, but in the process, I'm hoping not to wreck myself trying to just get to Kevin Harvick. We are very close to him now. 4 laps left to go. That's, you know, a minute. That's how quickly the laps fly by at this track. Once again, just nudging the lap traffic on the way out of the corner. There's Quin Houff yet again. You know, he had to make sure we said hi one more time by the end of this race. And DiBenedetto, 1.5 seconds ahead of us. We're definitely not getting to him. But can we get to the inside of Harvick? He got a bit loose there. Unfortunately, we're not close enough to actually, you know, dive it in. But still a few laps left. There's Bubba, our teammate. Maybe we can finish alongside him. Although probably not in the way he would hope. 2 laps left. The leader's not very far ahead of us at all, to be honest. 2 seconds. The leaders are going to be very close coming to the line because they are just being held up massively by the lap traffic. I'm not getting a great exit in these corners, probably because the right front is very worn at this point. 1 more lap. I don't know if we're going to get him. We need better exits, better exit speed to actually do that. We might actually get past DiBenedetto, though. Or do we go to the outside of Harvick? Let's go to the outside. Let's go for it. Are we going to get a side-by-side finish? Oh, we're actually going to get past him. And we're not going to be able to go anywhere around DiBenedetto, but we almost made it happen. 4th place. Very close to 3rd, honestly. I'll gladly take it. And I think Truex... Well, actually, Truex did not win the race. Newman won the race, actually, by almost 2 seconds over Truex, who was right next to us, actually. So, once again, very similar to Martinsville, where the top 5, you know, basically right on top of each other at the end. But Bobby Carter, impressive out of him. 7th place. Daniel Suarez with the top 10. Very good to see, performing very well. And we are going to make at least a fair bit of points on Denny Hamlin, who finished in 12th. Not a whole lot over Kyle Busch, but he's not the points leader, so not the ultimate goal. And then going down through the rest of the results, you can see that only 12 cars even finished on the lead lap. You can see all these other guys, only 21, even within 1 lap of the leader. And then in last place, Brendan Gaughan. Actually, I thought Quin Houff was in last place the whole time, but I guess Brendan Gaughan might have had not the greatest day in the world, but 4 laps down. Kind of crazy to see after only a 65-lap race. That race kind of flew right by. I'm pretty sure that's one of the shorter races we've had in terms of time, even though, you know, Martinsville was the same amount in terms of distance. And then moving on to the points after that race, you can see that now 4th place in points. You can see that Ryan Newman, with his 2nd win of the season, now moves up to 5th, tied with me, actually. So, you know, we're basically completely level. Both of us with 2 wins, 276 points. Denny Hamlin, what is that? Like 42 points ahead. So we did gain, you know, 8 points. That's pretty easy math. But not closing in too much. Martin Truex moves up to 6th place after that, after a couple of really great races. And looking at the points now, honestly, okay, the points have kind of closed up a little bit. I feel like the top 9 now are probably within a reasonable distance of winning the championship. Bowman's kind of fallen out of favor. He hasn't exactly had the best last 2 races, whereas Truex has had a very good last 2 races with a 1st and 2nd, I believe. So still pretty competitive, and pretty reasonable names all throughout the top 9 in terms of who can win a championship. Ryan Newman obviously probably outperforming his equipment a little bit, but you know, they got to let him have it. After all, you know, he survived an absolutely heinous wreck, so that'll inspire you to do a lot of very interesting things. But anyways, guys, that will wrap up the video for today. I hope you have enjoyed. If you've made it this far, please consider leaving a like. It would really help me out a lot. And then in the next episode, we're going to be heading over to Richmond, which I'm pretty sure now counts as my home track. I grew up with, you know, Homestead Miami Speedway being my home track. I guess Richmond now technically kind of replaces that, but should be interesting. Yet another short track, the 3rd short track in 4 races, should be pretty interesting. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.